So Infinity War got a new trailer. It looks pretty cool. I'm really excited about it. You're probably excited about it. And yeah, I haven't really talked about the Avengers too much specifically, so I thought why not make a video about the things I want to see in Infinity War and the things I don't really want to see in it. Let's go talk about it. Before jumping in, just so we're on the same page, I'm including Avengers 4 in this discussion too, because that was actually my first main wish, and then they announced a while back that Avengers 3 and 4 are two parts of the same story with Thanos as the villain. So, yay, good on them. So now that's established. Let's carry on. And the first wish I have, I'm just going to get out of the way because it's 100% not happening. But in my perfect world, the Infinity War storyline, meaning Avengers 3 and 4, would be the final films in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I feel like this is the perfect opportunity to say goodbye to all of these characters and just have a really satisfying and gut-wrenching finale to this really sort of decade-long story. And then have an epilogue sort of thing where you pass the torch to a new generation of heroes like Spider-Man, Black Panther, and Doctor Strange, and then imply that they'll go have their own adventures afterwards. Sort of how The Dark Knight Rises ended with Joseph Gordon-Levitt's Blake finding the Batcave and becoming Batman. That type of thing. And yes, I've seen the movie slate. I know there are a ton of movies to come, and they're just going to keep making these for forever. And again, just my perfect world thing. I've talked about before how I think endings are super important, so that's why I want this. I get that it's not happening, though. And since they're definitely not going to do that, and most of you guys probably don't even want them to do that, I would ask this. At least give the characters who will not be coming back after this story arc satisfying send-offs. Most of the original Avengers are probably not going to be around after Avengers 4, right? Chris Evans has already said that he doesn't have any plans to return as Captain America after the fourth Avengers. And I am not saying all of them should die. That would be complete garbage, and the characters don't deserve to die necessarily. Like, some need to for stakes, but not all of them. Maybe Thor takes whatever's left of his people and they try to rebuild a home and Thor rules over it as king. Have Cap finally settle down with Sharon Carter, maybe. He's lived his entire life in war. Maybe it's time for him to live in peace. Not everyone's going to make it out alive, though, and nor should they. But be more creative with your character send-offs than just killing everybody. They can retire. People retire from their jobs all the time. Why can't these guys? You know, it doesn't seem that absurd to me. And as I said before, some of these guys are going to have to bite the dust in this story arc, right? So for those characters, let's have some real, meaningful deaths. No more death fake-outs, please. We've had Agent Coulson, Nick Fury, Bucky, Loki, twice. Once you keep doing this, it establishes a pattern that, oh, they're just going to come back later on. They're not really dead, and it lowers the stakes. If you want to kill one of your characters, you've got to commit to it. We need to really feel that they're gone. Especially since Infinity Stones are in this movie, you have the ability to go back and change things that happened. Do not kill a bunch of people and then just use an Infinity Stone to fix it later. That is so lazy, and it erases all stakes of this storyline. I feel like you can maybe get away with reversing one death, maybe two, but the majority of them need to stick. Especially, I would say, after the midway point in this storyline, anyone who's dead needs to stay dead. This plays into my next wish, which is destroy the Time Stone. Take away the hero's ability to travel through time as soon as possible. Thanos being able to do it is okay, because he can really screw with our heroes a whole lot, but the hero should not be allowed to have that luxury. Think about it this way. What would be especially powerful is seeing the heroes reacquire the Time Stone after having lost some of their friends and being tempted to go back in time and change the past, but ultimately they decide they need to destroy it because risking that power falling back into Thanos' hands is too big of a chance to take. Nick Mason from the Weekly Planet podcast, really fun podcast, but he had an interesting theory that in the first trailer we see Thanos punching Iron Man in the head, and his theory is that it's actually Pepper Potts in the suit, and that kills her. Interesting idea. Listen to my little pitch here. What if Tony wants to go back in time and save Pepper because she dies towards the beginning of the movie, but ultimately he has to accept that the right thing to do is destroy the Time Stone and leave her dead. And since I think Tony's pretty high on the list of potential major character deaths in this storyline, that would make his death, I'm assuming towards the end, seem a lot more bittersweet than just sad. the woman he loves is dead, and he ends up having to let her stay dead. And then in the end of the movie, he ends up sacrificing himself towards defeating Thanos. That seems pretty powerful and interesting. Another thing, don't make Loki evil again. This would ruin the entire character arc that he's gone on over the last, since his first appearance, really. And I hear people say all the time that in the comic books he befriends Thor and then he betrays him again and again and again. It's like, I do not care. This is not a comic book. This is a movie series. They are different mediums and can do things a little bit differently, He's had a really strong and impressive character arc over the course of this series. Please don't ruin it. Maybe have him pledge allegiance to Thanos at the beginning to save Thor and Asgard, like sacrificing himself. Like, he's pledging allegiance, but he's doing it selflessly rather than just to save his own skin. Or maybe go a level beyond that and have him pretend like he's allied to Thanos and secretly try to undermine everything he's doing. Maybe he gets caught and dies at the end too. That would be pretty effective and emotional. In the first part of the story, that being the movie Infinity War, with Thanos victorious, maybe he's conquered the entirety of the Earth, and the Avengers and everyone else is still alive, are driven underground to regroup and fight back in Avengers 4. If they want to do the finger snap thing that I've heard people talk about from the comic books, that's totally fine, but the movie shouldn't end with the villain just snapping his fingers and cutting to black. We should end with the characters we care about and how they are dealing with the consequences of what has just happened. I'd love for the final scene to be a play on this scene from the first Avengers.
You're missing the point. There's no throne. There is no version of this where you come out on top. Maybe your army comes, and maybe it's too much for us, but it's all on you. Because if we can't protect the Earth, you can be damn well sure we'll avenge it.
Maybe have a play on we weren't able to protect the Earth. Now we have to avenge it. Have Tony toss Captain America's shield back, cut to black there. That would be really neat. Don't shove too much stuff in this movie, please. So I've seen a lot of people talking about the Skrulls, which are going to be in the upcoming Captain Marvel movie, and they're basically shape-shifting aliens. And a lot of people are saying, oh, wow, they could be in Avengers 4, and some of the heroes that we've been watching for a while, they're actually Skrulls, and they have been for a long time.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
Okay. One, this is a terrible idea for two reasons. First of all, it would just destroy a ton of character growth and character progression from whoever they choose to make a Skrull for the last couple movies. Like, imagine if it's Tony. Yeah, Tony's been a bit of a dick a lot of the time in the movies, but that's informed by the things that have happened to him in the previous movies. It is an interesting direction to take the character. And just giving the excuse, oh, he was an alien the whole time. The real Tony's just in a box somewhere. We can go find him now. He's just the same as he was in Iron Man 2. Yeah, that's garbage. And also, it would overcrowd this movie so much. So you have a big war with Thanos, this big bad that they've been building since the first Avengers. And at the same time, you also have these aliens who are occupying and infiltrating the Avengers. This movie is the culmination of everything that's been happening in the series for the last decade. Just let it be that. Focus is really, really important in movies, especially when you have a movie of this scale. And just going off of that and building on that, you already have more characters than any superhero movie before you that you need to give each of them sort of their time in the limelight. So just keep it simple and let them do their thing. And also, if Disney does acquire Fox and gets the rights to the X-Men and the Fantastic Four before Avengers 4, please, dear God, do not put them in this movie. I've said before that I don't want them in the universe at all, but if you're going to integrate them into the universe, just wait until this story's done. You can do it later. Another thing I want in there, throw in Nick Fury somewhere in there. Even if it's just for a scene, I feel like he's got to be there. He's the guy who brought them all together initially. He should be there for their biggest battle, at least in some small role. Another very important thing, develop Thanos well as a villain. Make him more this and less this. It seems like they're going to be doing a bunch of him and giving him his own origin story and all this, so I think they're on the right track on this, so we should be fine here, but just wanted to mention it because it's still an important thing for the movie. All right, for this last bit, I want to talk about what I'd like to see post-Infinity War. Since my perfect world scenario isn't happening and this series is going to go on forever, I want to give my little recommendations. And the biggest thing for me is pass the torch, not the mantle. Let's start seeing some of the main characters step away from their roles, either retiring from hero life or by going out in a blaze of glory. They've been around for a long time, and actor contracts are up anyway. That being said, I don't want them to go the route that the Marvel Comics are doing, where someone else takes up the role of Iron Man, Bucky, or Falcon become Captain America, and Jane Foster becomes Thor. Now, I get why they're doing this. They want to have diversity in the roster, and that's great. But this is just the laziest and most boring way to do it. It's like, oh, we don't have faith in our writers, so we're just going to keep the same comic names and put different people in them. No. So I'm going to give some suggestions on how to do this in a way that isn't totally dumb and lame. All right, Falcon and Bucky team-up movie. Falcon is cool and visually very different in costume and fighting style to Captain America. Why lose that and just give him a shield to use? Bucky could take up the alter ego White Wolf, like the kids at the end of Black Panther are calling him. Give him a cool new suit. Make a new superhero out of Bucky. Have him be something different. Maybe you could do some cool stuff with his metal arm and give him like weapons that come out of it, or I don't know. I just go from there. Rhodey War Machine movie. Don't have Rhodey be Iron Man. Just have him be War Machine. You could do a lot of different things with him than you would be able to do with an Iron Man. Think about it. He's in the military. We haven't had a military operation movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Let's take advantage of that. Let's see something a little bit different. Also, visually different as well is a good thing. And also, if he's still paralyzed after Infinity War, he can be dealing with his paralysis and the fact that he needs Tony's tech to walk at all. That could be a really interesting character arc for him. How about do a Sif movie? If you don't remember who she is, she's the only one of Thor's little warrior friends who was not on Asgard during the whole Thor Ragnarok thing. And I was pretty bummed that she wasn't in it until I saw all the rest of their friends just die in 5 seconds. So here's my pitch for this movie. Sif was on a mission somewhere else, and then she hears secondhand that Asgard and all of her friends are destroyed. She has some major survivor's guilt and sets out across the 9 realms to figure out wherever Thor has settled the rest of the Asgardians. Take some risks and do some different stuff within the universe. I don't need to see the red, white, and blue shield or the gold and red Iron Man suit in a movie for me to find it interesting and go see it. You have tons of side characters in these movies that are really well liked. Bring them to the forefront. You have one of the most powerful brand names in cinema right now. Make use of that and do some different and unique things. Okay, that's all about Infinity War. I'm done for the week. Let me know what you think about the things I want to see in the movie in the comments, and if you like or dislike the ideas that I came up with for future movies, let me know about that too. Until next week, like, share, and subscribe if you liked what I did here, and see you next Thursday.